So it's been a while since I posted on this account. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of TikToks about 6v6 versus 5v5. Which one is better? Which one should be the main game mode in Overwatch? And I've seen the arguments from both sides, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I post a video about my opinions? And I'm gonna just say it plainly. I think 5v5 is a way better game mode than 6v6. I'm not gonna act like I was an Overwatch 1 guy. Like, I did play Overwatch 1 when it first came out, but I genuinely did not know what was going on in the game. Like, the game was brand new. I used to just play Bastion, bro. I used to play Bastion, set up in a corner, because, you know, Bastion had that infinite turret mode where you couldn't move. I don't know what corner I was in. I would just shoot at whoever came through. I didn't even know an objective existed, believe it or not. I didn't even know there was like a point to the game of where you're supposed to go. I thought you're supposed to kill people, you know? So I would just set up in a corner and kill people. And then I stopped playing the game because it just made no sense to me. That was me in Overwatch 1. But I have played a fair amount of 6v6 open queue in Overwatch 2. And I've seen a fair amount of like prime Overwatch 1 clips, you know, like GOATS meta or pirate ship meta. Now, to be fair, I'm not going to use old Overwatch 1 clips to say like, hey, look, 6v6 is so boring. This is strictly going to be 6v6 versus 5v5 in Overwatch 2. The main reason I've been seeing of why people think 6v6 is better is because they say the one tank will always suffer in a 5v5 situation. And my counter argument to that and why I think 5v5 is overall a better game mode is because at the end of the day, somebody has to suffer in Overwatch. So Overwatch is just a game of suffering. Now, this is speaking from personal experience. I mainly play DPS and support. Mostly, I'm playing DPS. You know how miserable it is when I'm trying to go on a flank and there's like a diva chasing me around or a Winston chasing me around or any other dive tank just chasing me around. And obviously, as a DPS, you're not going to win a 1v1 against a tank. And then I get to the front line and there's a Mauga or a Roadhog or a Reinhardt or an Orisa, an unkillable Orisa in the front line. And now that nobody's flanking, the second tank pulls up to the front line as well. Like, there is no play you can make as a DPS player or a support player that the tank just can't cover. The second tank will always be able to cover that play. So then in 6v6, the two tanks have fun and everybody else suffers. Everybody else suffers unless you're playing like Bastion or Ana. The only people who like 6v6 are the tanks, a Bastion player, and an Ana player. And I don't mean to single out Ana. She's my favorite support, but like, she could just sit back and farm her two tanks for nano. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, for most games, it becomes one player suffering, right? The tank player in a 5v5 versus 4 players suffering the other 4 players who aren't tanks in a 6v6. And that's just the way it is. Like, you have to pick the lesser of two evils, because when it's all said and done, Overwatch is an evil game. Somebody has to suffer. And I know I said I wouldn't bring up Overwatch 1, but let's be honest, bro, were people really having fun back then? Like, I'd be seeing clips of like the Reinhardt holding up his shield until it gets destroyed, and then the Sigma will throw out his shield until it gets destroyed, or like the Ursa will throw out her shield until it gets destroyed, and by then the Reinhardt shield will come back, and then the next shield comes up, and it's just like, bro, there's no way people were saying this was peak Overwatch, bro. That was so unfun. Overwatch 2 is fun because the DPS and the supports can make plays. Even though the tank has to suffer, I'm sorry to say it, the DPS and supports can make plays. That's 4 players able to make plays compared to just 1 or 2 tanks making plays, bro. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think, because it clearly seems like Overwatch 2 wants to push out 6v6. They want to go back to like their glory Overwatch 1 days. But I just don't agree. I think 5v5 was just the better game mode. But let me know what you guys think, and yeah, I'll see y'all the next time I post, I guess.